demigod, boys and girls, demi squad, if you will. Let me get the promo out of the way because I feel like doing it in the middle of what I'm about to talk about is a little weird. So, hard-bodied music video, check it out. It's up here. If you haven't seen it yet, please support the work we do. Check it out. It's worth it. All right, now, getting into the subject of what today's video is about. It's about none other than the Pied Piper of R&B, which is now, it's like the weirdest, most awful way to refer to yourself, granted all the horrible things that you've done. Oh. So, the subject has been floating around the internet because of the new docu-series that came out that has all of the victims of R. Kelly's evil doings, basically. Sexual misconduct. His sexual misconduct. They're coming out and they're talking about everything that has happened to them and what they've been through with R.KELLY. And the picture painted is very, very awful. Just very manipulating and controlling. And just like having these young girls in the palm of your hand and doing awful things to girls who aren't developed enough to make the right decisions, because you're a young girl or young boy for that matter. Any young person is super easy to influence when it comes to anyone approaching them that is in a place of power or has fame or success or whatever the case may be. So you have these young girls that are basically being preyed upon by R.KELLY, and he has done it oh so many times. And what I want to talk about is not so much the crimes themselves, is just, what I think everyone's talking about and what everyone's trying to figure out is like, how do you reconcile with what one of your favorite artists, if he was your favorite artist, has done? How do you reconcile with that? If you go all this time just, being really into him for, Step in the Name of Love or whatever track, or Move Your Body Like a Snake, all the hits. R. Kelly has undoubtedly, if you're a fan of R&B, has undoubtedly been a part of your life. Even if you're not a fan of R&B, because he's broke through with pop records on the radio. I think now we're coming to this junction in our, I guess, generation that there's so much exposure for everyone. Everyone has a voice. Everyone can just come out and tell their truth. And we're living in a junction now where that has real consequences. And the real consequences are, if you've ever mistreated anyone as any type of public figure, they now have a platform to speak up about it. And now we have to weigh, I guess, your work and your credibility as an artist or whatever public figure you are against the claims that people are making. And these R. Kelly claims are not new. They're not new. We've known about this since it's been 10 years since the case. So we've known that it's like, oh man, R. Kelly probably he pees on girls. Like, weird thing. It peed on a 14-year-old girl. So we already kind of knew. We already knew R. Kelly was a little weird when it came on the sexual spectrum, right? And then the fact that it's a young girl made it even worse. But we kind of, I think, as a society, just swept it under the rug because it was a case he was not found guilty. So we were just like, oh, okay, anyone can allege whatever. I think for some reason, well, not for some reason, because of the music, because we've connected with the music, we connect with the artists, and therefore we're able to give them, I guess, more moral leeway when it comes to any negative things being thrown their way. But this one, man, there's no way that you can look at the docuseries and then look at R. Kelly and just walk away clean, thinking like, oh no, man, I'm still gonna bump 12 play. Like, it's not okay. But even that last remark that said like you're still gonna bump their music or whatever. That I think is the biggest issue, because it's like you now come across somebody listening to R. Kelly, and they're contributing to R. Kelly. Usually, if it's from like Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, they get paid off those streams, right? Um, so if you see somebody listening to R. Kelly, like, do you call them out now? Like, it's all these moral gray areas now that we have to live in. Is so like we want to say, oh yeah, we just canceled R. Kelly because of the horrible things that he did. But it's a lot messier than that, man. It's not that easy. It's like you have people who have been listening to R. Kelly for his entire like span, his entire career span as an artist. Um, and he has left such a huge mark. It's not even like he's a minor artist within the art, the genre. He's like he. Some people would even go as far as to say that R. Kelly like is R&B, and it's rough now when you find these charges, all these things that if you're a fan and you want to separate the music from the morals and all those other things, it's very tough, man. It's very tough. Like I can't see myself listening to R. Kelly without then thinking about the things that he did, especially if he's saying some grimy stuff, which is R. Kelly, so he's going to be saying some really grimy stuff. Now you're tying that to like, holy crap, is he talking about like a 14-year-old girl? This is awful. I don't want to be a part of this. You know, it's weird. But then at the same time, it's like you're chilling at a barbecue and Step in the Name of Love comes on. Are you going to call people out? Are you going to be like, oh, how dare you play this song? Because like you still have to remember that for someone who somehow, I don't know, I mean, maybe younger kids now would listen to that song and just be like, oh, this is a fun song or whatever, and they connect to it just because it's a song. It's just like a piece of art. It's its own thing to people who don't know. And even if you do know, it's like one of those things where you're trying to connect with the happiness that the music conveys. Like, are you going to be the person who calls it out and just be like, nah, man, we canceled R. Kelly? I don't have the answers. If you came here for the answers, I don't have the answers, man. Just because I want to show you guys that it's just like you can struggle with these things, man. You can struggle with these things just because it's just the ongoing question of separating the artist from their art. Like even people like XXX, I mean, outside of music like Louis C.K. and all those things, it's just like if you connected so much with their work, what do you do when you find out that maybe that person is less than savory? Got into a place where there's so much exposure and everyone has a camera on them at all times or whatever the case may be, that these dirty laundry is going to come out. People are going to see those things. So nowadays, I think we are creating like, you know, better artists who know more about those things, and they're more focused on their path. But for the people who were doing things and messing around in the past and doing awful things, a whole bunch of sexual misconduct, it got swept under the rug until now things are brought to light, even like with Bill Cosby. But I think moving forward, things will get better just because artists know that they're under that spotlight, under that scrutiny. Not to say that it's just like that's the only reason they wouldn't do anything, but there's more of a reason not to if they want to, you know, continue their career. Because let's talk about the fact that R. Kelly has been getting by with this, and basically the industry has kind of enabled it. He's had people around him. He's been at parties with his entourage, or be it his security guards or whatever, or his boys or whatever, and everyone knew what he was doing, and no one said anything because he had money. He was bringing in money. He was famous. All those things. It's complicated, man. It's complicated. It's what the industry has created up until now, and I think this is it. All the exposure needs to happen. If you're a person that you're an R. Kelly fan and you're just gonna ignore this, that's wrong, man. You're not on the side of history on that one. That's really bad. But going forward, things are getting better, I believe. But if you're having trouble reconciling with having such an icon just basically be run through the mud, not run through the mud, but being held accountable for his past actions that you weren't fully aware of, I think it's okay. I think people are smart and they know where to place their stakes. And now I think a lot of people are placing their stakes out of R. Kelly, and you just got to move forward with it, man. But it's a rough one. If you're having trouble with it, let's speak about it down below. Bring up some points or whatever that I could respond to. Any negative things, anything, any people that are still listening to R. Kelly, give me your side. I want to know why. Like, I really do. Damn you guys, out. Let's go.